From the studios of Tucson Business RadioX, recorded in the Stewart Title corporate offices on Broadway, you are now listening to The Mark Bishop Show. And now here's your host, Mark Bishop.
Well, according to the 20th Annual Technology Vision Report from Accenture, even though people are embedding technology into their lives more than ever before, organizations' attempts to meet their needs and expectations can fall short as companies work to deliver on their digital promises. And in a world where digital technology is everywhere, a new mindset and approach is required. We have Michael Biltz, the Managing Director of the Accenture Technology Vision Report. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
Michael, what is this new mindset and approach do you feel that organizations do need to address?
Yeah, so I think that the new mindset, is to really start to understand that the people of the world are different than the way they were. When you think about people's lives today, you suddenly realize that it's completely integrated with technology. And whether you're talking about an Amazon or a Walmart, looking to, ask for your key to your house so they could automatically deliver packages, or whether you're talking about, selling your car because you've got access to Lyft or Uber, is that suddenly both businesses and technologies are being entwined into our lives in very different ways. And what this has done is it's created an entirely new set of expectations from consumers.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, the slicker we get, the more we want, isn't it, really, whichever way you look at it?
It is.
Now,
yeah, so it's part of it is that never-ending bar that's being raised. You look at somebody like, we were having a discussion with the CIO for Kaiser Permanente, and they made a comment, that it was this expectation that consumers had that because they could have a mobile app that instantly in 30 minutes delivers their pizza, there was the expectation from them that they should be able to deliver their prescription drugs online in the same type of manner. And so it's not even necessarily a competition thing. It's that expectation that says if consumers are going to expect it, then suddenly that bar really gets raised for everyone.
Yeah, I want it now sort of thing. Well, at least I get texts from, my Walgreens pharmacy in reference to your medicines are waiting for you, but you still got to wait when you get there. It's not going to happen in 5 seconds, is it? You have insights.
No, it's definitely.
Go on.
No, I was going to say, it's definitely not going to happen. But I think that the crazy thing that we're seeing is that's the world that we've been living with, over the last, number of years. But we're actually starting to see consumers really go to that next level on top of it. Is that they're realizing that as my life is essentially being lived around these technologies and shaping those technologies, is that they're starting to ask for not just the tech or the services themselves, but they're starting to ask companies to make sure that how they build the technology, how the technology is delivered, how it's used, actually matches not just the value it provides, but their individual values.
Right.
And so we suddenly see things like sustainability. We see things like privacy. We see things, that are very much value-based becoming more and more a part of how companies are competing and how they're differentiating themselves in the marketplace.
Well, you have insights from the Accenture Technology Vision 2020 report, which is based on a survey of more than 6,000 business executives and some 2,000 consumers. It shares key tech trends for impacting business over the next 3 years. Is that right?
That's right. And a lot of what we see, as we look into those tech trends, becomes this intermingling, of technology and values, into, a single entity, we've kind of been expecting over the last number of years for there to be this techlash that, the amount of bad press that we see happening in the marketplace, is that people are going to start to push back and not adopt technology. And frankly, we haven't seen that at all.
No.
Right now, I think we crossed the 4 billion mark in terms of the number of people who are online. And on average, people spend, I think, over a quarter of their life, online. And so we're not seeing that happen at all.
Yeah.
Rather, all of this thing is a tech clash, that says it's not the technology they're objecting to, as much as it is, either how well it's implemented,
Right.
as that frustration can happen, and then a combination of it's implemented, but it's not actually aligning to my value system, and I think that's that interesting piece that says, a number, 3-4 years ago, the C-levels are all talking about, efficiency, products and services, and nowadays is that they're also talking about, ethics, they're talking about values, they're talking about privacy, and all of these things have suddenly risen to a point that that's what big companies are talking about because that's become the new expectation.
So, in your view, Michael, how do companies adopt a more human focus? How do they better meet people's expectations? What's the best thing they can do?
Yeah, and it's trust. And this is the interesting thing is you're talking about companies, and a lot of them, have had, a very distant relationship with their consumers, themselves, is that, they sell a product, and then they go someplace else, and the next interaction with most of their consumers isn't either till they have a problem or until they sell another product.
Right.
Now we're talking about smart things that says you're interacting back and forth. People are shaping and changing their lives around it. And so what you're really trying to do is build a increased level of trust that says, is it okay for a business to have your data? Because the more data they have about you and the better they understand you, the more services that they can provide. Would you trust somebody with a key to your house? Because it's super valuable to not have to be home to get a package, but the level of trust that you need for that is something that, hasn't really been required before, and that takes a different mindset, and a different journey for how, not on a global basis or on a societal basis, but on a one-on-one basis with an individual customer that says, how do I build the trust so this specific person trusts me enough in order to exchange data, exchange, that ability to create, services that really are in your home, in your cars, with your children.
Yeah, it is. And it's pretty scary because, the lucky ones, the younger generation that have been able to be brought up in schools with computers, they're on, iPhones and so on. For more seniors, it's still tougher. They're still learning. Trust is everything in business anyway, which people, it's come right around 180 degrees, and that's where things are. But when it comes to online, sometimes I hate the fact that you can never contact them. It's all got to be online. There's no phone calls, and there's no human person. Bots are there instead, How do you trust that?
Well, but I think that's the point. You almost said it, immediately yourself. Is the reason that you crave that person is because you don't trust them. I look at it that says there are certain companies and there are certain institutions, that we already trust, and they have an enormous amount of information out. So think about something like a credit card company. They know how much money you make. They know everything that you buy. They know what your family got for Christmas before they did. They know when you travel. I mean, the amount of information they actually have about you is staggering. But they've spent the last 50 years building up a level of trust that says people are okay with some of the automation pieces. People are actually, happy, to have a text alert instead of a person calling about, a potential fraudulent charge. And all of these things that, people complain about and worry about is not something that a lot of these companies have to deal with because they've actually built and invested this trust for longer periods of time. And so you're seeing now is you're seeing companies that haven't had that viewpoint or haven't needed that viewpoint, for a long time, just now figuring out that they have to create a new level of trust in order to build that next generation of services they have, because it really is going to be so intertwined into everything we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we just about got to go. But on that point, I want to make a note, credit where it's due, I guess. But Amazon have done this well, with their regional people all across the country who may work out of their home. But I remember purchasing something, had a little issue, didn't want it, and within 15 minutes I had a phone call about, okay, let's fix this up. It's service. And I was very, very pleased and very amazed. I didn't think that sort of thing went on. I thought it was just, back to somewhere online again. But they took the step to still keep human services within the tech field. And that was a smart move.
No, it is, and they're not the only ones. I mean, if you look at somebody like Costco, they have an incredible return policy that's almost a no questions asked. Mm-hmm. They also do things like, they're very vocal about, how they treat their employees and the benefits that they give them, but they're very pushing this idea that says they want people to understand both their values and understand, that it's very clear they're trying to build a level of trust, with their consumers in order to keep them coming back. And I think that this, instead of becoming, I'm going to say a lone example, is that more and more this is going to become a way that people are going to be doing business. And we're going to see a lot of companies picking sets of values, from sustainability to, how they treat their workers, as platforms, for how they both position themselves, brand themselves, and, build trust in their communities.
Fascinating stuff. Michael Biltz, he leads Accenture's Technology Vision. It's an R&D group in the company's annual technology visioning process. And through this process, Michael defines Accenture's perspective on the future of technology beyond the current conversations about social, cloud, mobility, and big data. Fascinating stuff, Michael. Be good to chat to you again sometime. Now, people can go to www.accenture.com/technologyvision. Is that right?
That's right. Or you can just go ahead and Google Accenture Technology Vision.
Fantastic. A lot of great information. And, you're sort of predicting ahead, aren't you, mate? You're a bit of a psychic there.
That's the goal.
All right. Good stuff. Thank you, Michael. Have a great week.
All right. You too.
Goodbye now.